Hello, and welcome to creating a hidden volume in VeraCrypt. To execute this tutorial, you will need to have VeraCrypt installed. There'll be a card that appears up in the top corner of this video, plus there's a link right below in the description to go get VeraCrypt. So if you need to install it, please go ahead and do so before you do this tutorial, if you're going to follow along, of course. And of course, one thing we should probably talk about is why you might want to make an encrypted hidden volume rather than just an encrypted volume, an encrypted drive. The reason is actually quite simple. If you just make an encrypted drive and it is protected by a password, there may come a time when someone will make you give your password up. And if that is the case, they will then have all your secrets. And the idea behind this is laid out pretty well in this cartoon. The idea is, no matter how good your encryption algorithm is, no matter how awesome that 100-character password is, let's just say, if that was possible, it wouldn't matter in the end because someone could just beat you with a wrench until you give them the password. And that's a legit thing. There's going to be times when you have to give up your password. And we would rather not have to do that, but you might. If that's the case, a hidden volume allows us to give up the password to the outer volume, the thing that holds the hidden volume. By giving that up, hey, look, we got into their hidden stuff. We got into their quote, quote, encrypted hidden content. Yeah, but you're not giving up your actual hidden volume's password. Only the outer volume, the one that holds it. So basically your actual secrets are still secure because you haven't given up the password to that volume. It's a great idea and it works quite well actually. So I will give you a link right below in the description about rubber hose cryptanalysis if you're interested in going and reading about it. It's an interesting topic. And it is important to realize that this is pretty normal in the business. The human fails, whereas the cryptographic algorithm does not fail. And if that's the case, we want to have some way to protect our stuff, even if we have to give up the password. So we have plausible deniability, as they call it. Hey, this is my password, here's my secret stuff, and there's no way for someone to detect that hidden volume exists. It's a great idea. All right, without further ado, let's go do it. Let's go make one. So you'll need to run VeraCrypt. In my case, I already have it installed, so I just clicked on its icon down here in the taskbar. So run VeraCrypt, and you will see its GUI pop up. We want to click on Create Volume. So we're going to create an encrypted file container. We're not going to do this on a drive. We're just going to do this in a file to keep it simple. You can do this on an actual non-system drive if you wish. You can also do it on your actual system partition, but that gets a little hairy unless you know what you're doing and you have a really good discipline. So we're just going to do an encrypted file container and call it good. So go ahead and select Create an Encrypted File Container and click Next. We select Hidden VeraCrypt volume because we're going to make a hidden one. It is generally recommended that you make it in this fashion. You don't just add a hidden volume to one that already exists, but we'll go ahead and start off with Hidden VeraCrypt volume right here and click Next. If you want to add the hidden volume to a volume that already exists, you can. You can just use direct mode and add it. But in our case, we're going to use normal mode because we're just letting the wizard do our work for us. So we have to first make an outer volume and then we will make the hidden volume. Click Next. We need to select the file location. Click Select File. Now I have made a folder on my desktop called Encrypted Drives. So I'm just going to store it in my Encrypted Drives folder. You could store the file anywhere you want to. In our case, I'm just going to put it here. And we're going to call it the outer volume, making it very clear that this is the actual file that will contain our hidden drive and that it is the outer one, that there is no file that you will see, quote, quote, for the hidden drive or volume. Click Save. Click Next. Now we need to set up the options for that outer volume. Click Next. We will leave the encryption options at AES and SHA 512. They're fine for what we're doing. Click Next. Free space. Now this is a biggie. You need to give it enough space to hold your hidden volume and give that hidden volume enough room to actually store the stuff that you're going to need to store. So we're going to do 100 megabytes because that's a good round number and it makes it quick for the demo. Obviously, if you don't give it enough space in the outer volume, it isn't going to be able to contain what you want it to contain in the hidden one. And don't forget, there has some, it's got some overhead in that outer volume too, because you're going to want to put some files in there, but we'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 100 megabytes to keep it simple. Click Next. Password needs to be a decent password no matter how you slice it. I'm just going to use password. Literally, the word password. Never use that in the real world, obviously. But in our case, password's just fine. We'll go ahead and use password. Click Next. It's going to complain, but it's fine. For tutorial, we're fine. So click Yes. Now, file format matters here. If I drop down my selection box, NTFS does not deal well with this. It has some issues. So generally, you should use FAT or exFAT. We will pick exFAT because that is a more modern system that will work okay for what we're doing. You also cannot do dynamic drives for this type of thing. Like I was saying in one of my other tutorials, dynamic drives are okay. There's nothing particularly wrong with them, but especially for this kind of thing, you cannot use them. It has to actually allocate all the space. Otherwise, an adversary could actually figure out where your encrypted data is, and that would be bad. So we want to make sure it takes up all the space we've told it to use in one fell swoop. So we give some movements here for our mouse to make sure that we're as random as we can be. At least as random as we can collect here. And click Format. It'll ask for administrator rights. Click Yes. And it will now mount the outer volume that we just made. So as you can see here, it's saying, hey, I've mounted this. Click Open Outer Volume. And you will see that Windows has mounted this to drive Z. This is the outer volume that will hold, for lack of better, nothing that you really care about. This is the stuff you want to put on there so that people think they've gotten into your secret stuff. So put fake secret stuff in here, or, secret stuff that isn't that secret. In this case, we're just going to cheat and add a text document that says, I'm a secret. And maybe we'll do another one, another text document here, and we'll say, I'm a password file or something. The bottom line is you put some fake stuff in there, some pictures, some text files, whatever you want to put in there. But the idea is that this stuff isn't actually the stuff you're trying to protect. It's just stuff to make people happy that they got that password. Once you're done adding some fake files, remember, don't add so many files you have no room left for your hidden volume. That would be bad. Part 2 of that, though, don't mess with the outer drive, outer volume, after you've created the hidden volume, or you could end up with problems. It could actually destroy the hidden volume. So you want to put your fake stuff in here now and then not use the outer volume again. So I'll say it one more time just to be real clear. You want to put the files that you're going to use to appease someone in here now. And then once that's done and the hidden volume is created, you do not go back and use that outer volume again, because it is possible that can corrupt the hidden volume and that ruins everything. So once you've got some files in there to fake people out, close my Explorer here, and we need to go and make the hidden volume. Click Next. And it'll take a second. It'll ask for user account. It'll ask for administrator again. Click Yes. All right, now it's time to make the hidden volume. Basically, VeraCrypt went in, looked at what it made before in this outer volume, and figured out what its size for the hidden volume could be after you've put in those other files. Obviously, it changes the size of the space available. Click Next. We'll go ahead and use AES again. There's no reason to change the algorithm for encryption. We're good. Click Next. Maximum size. Now here's where things get interesting. If you actually try to make this, say, 90 megabytes, let's say, it might complain. Let's click Next and see what happens. So we'll put in 90 megabytes and click Next. Aha! So it's going to basically complain because if you tried to use the outer volume, if you're going to actually add stuff to it, this could definitely be problematic because you've taken up so much space for the hidden volume that it's made it so you can do almost nothing with the outer volume at all. So it's going to definitely complain if you do that. I'm going to go ahead and click No. I will now pick 80 megabytes. So this is 10 megabytes less, but it's enough that VeraCrypt will no longer complain about that probably. So 80 megabytes, we'll pick that. Click Next. Now, this is important. You need to pick a really good password for this like you did for the other one, but it needs to be a different password. So if you take this volume and you mount it with the outer volume's password, it will mount the outer volume. But if you take this volume and you mount it with the hidden volume's password, it will mount the hidden volume instead. So I'm going to use a different password in this. I'm going to use I'm a secret. I am a secret. I'm a secret. Obviously, in the real world, use a proper password or passphrase, please. But in this case, you need to be sure that it's a different password than the one you used for the outer volume. Click Next. Again, VeraCrypt will complain. You should always use 20 or more characters. Click Yes. Select exFAT for the file system. Do not select NTFS. Select exFAT. Chances are you do not want to use NTFS for this type of file system, so click exFAT. Move your mouse randomly as usual. Got to get some random stuff in there so it makes it harder for people to brute force. Once that bar fills up all the way, click Format. Again, it will ask for administrator permissions. Click Yes. And after a short time, it will show that you are squared away and the volume has been created. I have placed a link in the description below to that security requirements and precautions page on VeraCrypt's documentation site. I recommend highly that you go and read that because hidden volumes need special care. So make sure you go read that. Click OK. And you're good. If you click Next, it'll just take you back to the beginning of the wizard again. Go ahead and click Cancel. Now you'll see this time it has not actually mounted your drive. So go ahead and pick a drive letter to mount it to. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to pick F. I will click Select File. So if I select my file, I got to go to my desktop. I got to go to Encrypted Drives, the folder where I place that, and select the outer volume. Click Open. To mount our new hidden folder, remember that we need to enter I'm a secret as the password, not password. So click Mount and enter I'm a secret. Click OK. Your new drive should mount. It might take a little bit. And there it is. And we can verify that this is a hidden volume by noticing where it says type right there. It says hidden. So VeraCrypt knows that this is a hidden volume. It understands that. If you want to use that hidden volume, we can open File Explorer, scroll down, and you should now see the F drive. Click on that. And here is my hidden volume. Please note that the files that we placed in the outer volume are not seen here. That's because this is the hidden one, not the outer one. So I can right-click, New, Text Document. I'm a hidden file. And hit Enter to finish the file name. So now here I have a text file that is in my hidden volume, not in the outer volume. Unless I use I'm a secret for the password, people cannot see this. But it's important to note that not only can they not see it, they cannot even tell that this drive or this volume exists in the file that you created for the outer one. There's plausible deniability there. You can just say, hey, I don't have hidden stuff. Go ahead and close File Explorer. And we'll go ahead and dismount our hidden volume. And just for fun, let's go ahead and mount the outer volume. So it will still remember what we're talking to. It knows what the file is that we're going to use. So just click Mount again. And this time put in the password for the outer volume, password. Now, before you click OK, click on Mount Options. And you'll see that if you go to Mount Options, you actually have a way that you can select Protect the Hidden Volume Against Damage. Technically, you should always select this if you are opening your outer volume and you're going to try and change its contents. If you don't do this, there is nothing that will stop the outer volume from screwing up your hidden volume. That would be bad. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. And we have to put in the password to the hidden volume. I'm a secret. And click OK. And click OK again. And now it will actually mount the outer volume. Now, the outer volume is set to protect the hidden volume at this point because of what we did. It's not going to mount the hidden volume with that password. It just goes and checks up some headers and things to make sure that it knows where it can and cannot write to. So as you can see, VeraCrypt tells us, hey, we're going to check and make sure that you're not going to damage anything. But understand that if you actually do get the warning that it's protecting it, basically that's bad. And you may have to restart Windows once you get that warning, because it's basically blocking Windows from writing to that drive. So go ahead and click OK. And you'll see that it actually says it's the outer volume here. Now, just for fun, let's go ahead and try and hose this thing up. If you have some stuff that you can copy into here, you can, or you can just watch if you don't want to do this one yourself. I'm going to go ahead and open up File Explorer one more time. Scroll down, go find my local disk, and as you can see, my outer volume stuff is showing up right there. I'm a password, I'm a secret. Remember, these are the files from our outer volume, so we know we're talking to the outer volume, not the hidden one. I'm going to go ahead and open up File Explorer one more time in a new window. Go to my pictures directory here, and I'll go grab some bunch of pictures. And I will attempt to copy all these pictures into the outer volume, and you'll see it'll fail miserably because I don't think there's enough space for all this stuff. So I'll just drag it over and I'll drop it. And it'll give me the complaint because I'm using exFAT and I'm using NTFS as my main file system. It's okay, it just means there's some properties that aren't going to copy, and it's giving you a warning about that. We can go ahead and copy, it doesn't matter. So do this for all current items. Click yes. And it will fail miserably. So, not the best grammar in the world, but as you can see, data were attempted to be saved to the hidden volume area, so I protected it. So basically the whole thing is now write protected, so you can't go mess with it. And you've basically made it so you're going to probably have to restart Windows, because Windows hates having that kind of an error come up. It basically is getting write fail errors, and Windows does not like that. You probably don't really have to restart modern Windows operating systems, but Windows 7 and below, yeah, maybe you'd better restart. But it's not bad advice. It's not bad advice to have you restart. So I'll go ahead and click OK. And you'll see that you now have an exclamation point. I'll close my File Explorer windows. We don't need those open anymore. You'll see you now have an exclamation point next to the outer because it's telling you that, oops, something went horribly wrong. It had to use its protection. So again, when you mount the outer volume, make sure you always use that protection option, because otherwise you literally can overwrite your hidden volume, and that's probably not what you want to do. All right, very good. We're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and dismount my volume here. We're dismounted, and close VeraCrypt. Thank you very much, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed and tell your friends, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.